What's going on, YouTube? We're here to talk about my girl Kamala Harris, right? So she did an interview with someone from ABC, right? And then she also did, I guess, kind of an interview with this guy that I watch on YouTube, Diary of a CEO. I watched quite a few of his videos. I started watching like 2 years ago, and I think like his interview skills are phenomenal. And then the way he is able to get his guests to like have a back and forth with him for like extended period of time, like more than an hour long. I think that's fantastic. It's really great. It's actually pretty cool. But right now we're going to focus on the ABC interview, and then I might do another video like tackling the whole Diary of a CEO video because I like his content and I really want to delve into that because there's so much that you can really mine out from her. Even though the former VP has a terrible habit of just throwing out word salads and nothing burgers, the more she speaks, the more you could kind of get an idea of what it was going to be like to have her as president. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to jump right in.
That it would have been counterproductive.
And yet you now call it reckless.
I think that in retrospect, it was a conversation I should have raised, even if it were ill-received.
Didn't you also have a responsibility? You were one of the people in the room. You saw, notwithstanding that you said that he was able to execute his job, but you knew he was asking for 4 more years. Didn't you have a responsibility as an American to step up and say something at that point?
I did not question Joe Biden's capacity to be president at all.
For 4 more years?
I did not question his capacity. I saw him in the Oval Office, in the Situation Room, meeting with world leaders on a daily basis. And I did not have any question about that. My concern...
Even up to 2028?
Correct. My concern... Well, I mean, I can speak for up until 2024.
But I guess what I'm asking is, you saw how he was. You saw some of the deficits notwithstanding.
My concern was whether he had... running for president of the United States in a nation of 330 million people is an extraordinary feat about energy and endurance, and especially talking about running against the person who's now in the White House, and doing it with the heavy responsibility of being the sitting president. And that was my concern about whether, I talk about running for president. Some people say, oh, it's a marathon. No, I would call it a marathon running at a sprinter's pace with tomatoes, I'm in England, tomatoes being thrown at you every step you take.
So before she gets a little bit too deep, I don't like how they're refusing to acknowledge the fact that we all saw from the minute he got into office, Joe Biden, right, to the first presidential debate for 2024. I have a lot of women in my life that are nurses, that are in the nursing field, that are in the medical field. And they all at one point or another said, no, there's something off with him. Like, he seems like he's not fully there. And then they told us for years, oh, he's fine. Oh, he's chipper. He's good. And then all of a sudden, when he got on that debate stage, guess what? His entire party lost faith in him. They turned against him. Nancy Pelosi? Yeah. They had celebrities that were like diehard Democrats that were like, yo, calling him out. So what you're trying to tell me, right? Because you're looking at me like I'm Boo Boo the Fool. What you're trying to tell me is that up until that moment, he was completely fine and you saw nothing. And then even after the presidential debate and after he got like ousted, I think his party kicked him out. I don't care what anybody says. That's what I think. We saw more and more instances of him just not being fully there. I think they had like a G20 meeting or whatever where they had to take a picture without him because he just went wandering off. And we're going to sit here and act like that didn't happen. And it's funny, just before she got put up for the nomination, right? Everyone was saying, yeah, he's not looking good. He's not looking strong. Like, who was it? Van Jones, right? He was crying because he was saying, like, that's not the person that I know, even though we all know it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was that bad. But now you coming up here saying again, I mean, like, I didn't think to question him at all, really. So you want me to believe that one instance on that debate stage where everyone saw that he did not seem at tip top, he didn't even look like he was at 50%. You're telling me right now that was the only instance? Come on now.
Wasn't Joe Biden then, to put it on him, wasn't his refusal to recognize his own frailties the reason that you faced a nearly impossible task?
I ran against Donald Trump for president. And Donald Trump ran on a platform that was, in large part, I believe, misrepresenting his intentions to the American people. I do believe that there are a fair number of people that voted for Donald Trump who believed him when he told them that his first priority on day one is going to be to bring down prices. And he didn't. And you combine that misrepresentation.
I will say this. He did mention making sure things that were going to come down. So he didn't directly say, and I could be wrong, let me know. He didn't directly say, hey, I'm going to bring down prices. He said prices are going to drop because the government cannot control prices of, like, you know, private corporations and everything like that. So in other words, groceries, they can't do that. Like, that's, and we don't want them to do that. Trust me, that'd be terrible. What he did say, which, you know, much to my dismay, was that he was going to solve these wars within a week. As we can all see, that didn't happen. And I said time and time again, he needs to shut up 25% more, and I think he'd be golden. But he did say he was going to solve that. He didn't specifically say, and I could be wrong, let me know. He didn't specifically say he's going to drop prices. He said prices are going to start dropping as soon as he gets in. He did say that. Very similar, but two different things. Also, when in reference to when she's saying, like, you know, he kind of misrepresented himself. There's various times when she said he misrepresents himself, then other times when she said no, he's told people exactly what he's going to do. Yes, he literally told people exactly what he was going to do. I don't think he misrepresented himself at all, because everything that he's doing now is exactly what he said he was going to do, whether you like it or not.
Of intention with also what was at play in terms of massive amounts of mis and disinformation.
Now, forgive me.
And a truncated calendar in terms of the clock.
I want to interrupt you because that is a world-class pivot, but it is not the question that I asked you.
And you know what? It's on me, because I got sucked into it too. She does that a lot. A lot of politicians do that. Whenever they want to divert attention away from them and their I guess shortcomings, they automatically jump to what Donald Trump is doing, what this administration is doing, and she is very good at doing that. There was a point in time when watching her debates, and not just her debates but her interviews, because I watched all her stuff because I really wanted to get a good gist of who she was and what she offered. Every single question that was too difficult, she went right back to Donald Trump is bad, Donald Trump is this, Donald Trump is that. One thing about these English people, man, they don't play no games. They don't play no games. They get straight to the point. She said, look, that was a world-class pivot. That's not the question I asked you. Which is true, because even I got sucked into it.
Which is about Joe Biden's failure to recognize his own frailties and what that did to you. The question is about Joe Biden. Are you still reluctant to criticize the former president?
In what regard, please?
Well, just in terms of that question. So you went on...
What exactly would you like to ask? Be more specific, if you don't mind.
Was it Joe Biden's decision, his failure to recognize his own frailties in that position, that put you in the position that made it almost impossible to win that race?
He was not frail as president of the United States.
But he had frailties. We all saw the debate.
I do believe that Joe Biden had the capacity to be president of the United States, and I have...
You a bold-faced lie. And this is what pissed people off, right? On both sides of the political aisle. We're seeing this in real time. And then when the debate came around, there was almost no question. No one could have defended it. And then now you're sitting here going, and she got a little snippy because she got upset because she called her out. Now you're sitting up here trying to be like, I didn't see, he wasn't frail, he was fine. So why didn't he stay on the ticket? If you felt like there was no way that he wouldn't have been able to make it the next 4 years, why was he pushed off the ticket? Because that's what happened. The Democratic Party turned against him. Don't forget that. They cannibalized him.
Never doubted that he had the capacity to be president of the United States. If you want to talk about whether he had the ability to endure what a race for president of the United States would require in that political environment in 2024, as I've said in the book, I had concerns.
I'm just wondering, is there a reason why you won't go to that prolonged frailty question? Now, we saw the debate, we saw the difficulty he had marshalling his thoughts.
I have answered that question. I do not believe
that I think it's just hard watching the debate to see how there could not be a problem long term with someone who can't marshal their thoughts. I'm not saying his acuity wasn't present.
I talked about that in the book, and I also mentioned the context in which that debate occurred. And you'll probably remember how I talked about that in terms of what his travel schedule had been, that what he had been enduring in terms of the timing of that debate. I talk about it extensively in the book. I'm not shying away from that. That's why I wrote it in the book, because I do know it's a question people had.
I want to go to another question about him. You described this. I think it's one of the standout scenes in the book. You're preparing for one of the most difficult tasks a politician in the world can do, which is prepare for a US presidential debate against Donald Trump, perhaps the most difficult contender. Joe Biden called you. What happened?
He called to, I thought, congratulate me or to wish me good luck. And then he brought up other issues, which I have discussed in the book.
Which is, he was talking about some criticism that he'd heard from some donors in Philadelphia.
Correct. That's right.
Now, what did you think about that?
As I write in the book, it threw me off for a moment. But I obviously, if you watch the debate, you will see that it did not have any impact on my performance, which many people, if not most, would and did declare that I won that debate.
I'm curious because you are undercutting the language of your own book. You say in the book, Doug Emhoff, your partner, your husband, could see how angry and disappointed you were.
Yes, of course.
So let me ask you.
He did see that.
Yeah.
He did.
But just now, you didn't quite put it in those terms. Someone rings you at that crucial moment and talks about something else and then goes on to talk about his own debates against Trump. What was your reaction to him giving you that call?
I was upset about it, as I write about in the book. Yes.
I just sense
First of all, she didn't write her book. None of these politicians, whenever they, go off to glory when it comes to them coming out of office and everything like that, and they try to prepare themselves for the next steps within their career or just in retirement, they don't ever write their books. They don't. They more so dictate it, all right? That's the first point. The second point, I don't think her and Joe Biden have really talked. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if you ever noticed, whenever she was out doing her debates and everything like that, when she was out doing her interviews, when she was out just campaigning, right? There was no real Joe Biden support. It always seemed like there's tension between them. So for me personally, I don't think there was really any calls or conversation. I just think what happened was that she got a call from people that control the Democratic Party, not Joe Biden. Ain't gonna get into who those people may be. And they pretty much say, hey, look, you're next. That's what I think. I could be 100% wrong, but that's just what I think. Well, you guys already know the drill. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. Comment down below. Tell me your thoughts. Do you feel like she's just doing the same old word salad and BS, or do you think that there's more to this story that she can't say because of the powers that be? Let me know down in the comments below. That's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.